Hello everyone and welcome to my very first The Sims 4 speed build. Today you're going to see the speed build of a modern loft, and I gotta say, there is no custom content in, there is no DLC, it is 100% vanilla. I just own the game, no single DLC or whatsoever. So this is what you're seeing here is made with the pure base game. Reason for that is I kind of lost track of Sims 4. I got this game at the very beginning, I never touched it. I don't know why. It just didn't catch my attention at the very beginning. I'm not quite sure what exactly kept me away from it, but now after all these years, I just finally wanted to get my hands on it, also to get a bit of a little change of speed from all the planet stuff. And as you know, I'm mostly building in Planet Coaster, Planet Zoo, sometimes City Skylines. So yeah, just going to go into another creative game, and oh boy, this was a difference. But I think I really felt a lot more comfortable at the end of this build. So from the thumbnail you have seen already what this is going to be looking like. I found a lot of techniques in the game that I haven't seen before. I've seen them. I'm sure that everyone is using them in the Sims community, but I haven't seen them myself before because I haven't touched the game. And Sim 3 is also so many years ago that I basically just forgot all of it. However, today we are going to build a modern loft, and the idea about this thing was to make as many difficult things for me personally as I could in this build, to just test what is possible in the game. And there is just so much in here that I actually like, because there are so many things I didn't think they were possible. I had some issues with height elevation. I messed up, as you can see. I was using some different heights of the basement just to get this little bit of an interesting look into it. Just getting, not that kind of super flat, lofty house. I just wanted to make something with an overhanging room. I wanted to have the bedroom overhanging over the pool. I wanted to have a separate building part at the back, so that, the kitchen and the living room is separated from the main building. And it's just all over looks very interesting and very modern. And then we also have like a sunken garage for your cars and stuff in the ground, which is only cosmetic. It's not really functional. It's not really a garage. I'm not even sure. I think with some of the DLCs there were actually cars and stuff coming to the game and actual garage you can use. But as I said, this is just a very base build from the vanilla game, and I'm really thinking to make more of this in the future. So it's a little bit depending on how much you guys like it and how much of a feedback I get on that one. And I was looking into the EA Game Pass, because that's basically the only solution I have to really own all of the DLCs, and the only the only chance that I don't have to pay like €1 million, because I'm not like rich and I can't buy all the DLCs. When I first opened this game, holy crap, like there were like all the DLCs listed down there, and like, oh yeah, 50%, 70%, 25%, and I just like still counted, and I was like, how much do I need to pay to get all of those? And I was like, no, just I'm not gonna do this. At the end I decided to do a vanilla let's play here, or let's build, or a speed build, if you will. And yeah, but now let's talk about this building and the idea behind this a little bit. So my first idea was to have this raised pool as the central point of this build. So this is where everyone is, coming together. People can chill around the pool, and then you have to separate that a little bit from the rest of the build. So I raised this platform a little bit and made sure that there is a planter in front of the house. I was trying to make a sunken little way into the garage to make it a bit lower, but unfortunately it didn't work out exactly the way I wanted it. So as you can see now, I'm tricking this with a little bit of the frames of the windows and doors, just to bring this garage a little bit more to the front. So I was using these things to just pull that wall that tad bit more out than it actually is. It was a little bit of a tricky challenge, to be honest, because I had no idea how to manipulate the pieces. I'm used to have a game where there is a full 3D space. I can move the objects, millimeter by millimeter. In this game, I have to stick to the raster a lot more. Into the grid, I should say. Sorry, that was the German word in my mind. I need to stick to the grid a lot more than in other games. So I was actually testing a lot of stuff, and even though I did already cut out a lot of stuff, I still left in a lot of my trial and error stuff in here. So you can really see that I tackled this game from the very beginning, and I just tried so much because I wasn't really feeling it at the beginning. I needed to come up with some techniques that to make things look the way I wanted them to look, and to just manipulate to the grid as much as I could. So this is a perfect example over here. Now I wanted to have like a fence for the area where the car can come in, but I still wanted to make sure that this looks somewhat separated and low enough, and none of the fences really suited me. So what I ended up doing is I took this door over here, I sized it down with one of the cheats that you can use in the game to size objects down, and I basically made this little modern fence myself. I used these pieces in a bit of a higher way and bigger way on this side to just block the views a tad bit more, and so that you have this entrance way for the car a little bit nicer, and so I was able to kind of fulfill what I wanted to do a bit better with those pieces. And yeah, just putting in, and I think this is the same rule that applies to all of the games, as much foliage as you use, it makes the game look better instantly. And yeah, some of the issues I also had, some of the controls are super weird. I couldn't find how to delete pieces and stuff at the beginning, and didn't really know what exactly the pieces are for. And then I found that the texture piece, like the texturing on the ground, is pretty accurate in comparison to everything else in the game. It's very weird though, that the texturing is so cool and so precise, and then everything else in the game is basically just tucked down to the grid, which it requires a little bit of creativity to come around with a solution to make it look the way you want. Because there's also one particular challenge we have later on, and this is the gate I made for the garage is sticking out that tiny bit more to the front, and you can see there is a little bit of a displacement in between. There's a little gap, and this gap really drove me nuts because I did not really know how exactly to fill in that gap, and I ended up doing like a little bar area where you have a bartender tender and stuff, sticking there and just getting some stuff done. And this could be a cool thing, but yeah. And I'm also sorry that this is a little bit of a messed up progress. The main reason for that is that whenever I found a new piece that kind of worked out nicely, I was trying around some stuff with this piece in particular before I moved on to the stuff I was just building. So sometimes I'm just jumping from A to B, from B to C, from B to F and back to A, just because I just found that. For example, over here, I wanted to make this little custom. It's almost like where you have the doorbell, if you go down there, and just not doorbell, it's actually the button required to press in order to open the garage door. That's what it is. So I figured that these pieces work as a nice button if you sync them in. And I'm quite happy that some of the rules that you use in Planet Coaster and in Planet Zoo when you use the grid apply in here as well. So you can use the same techniques in order to sync pieces in and use them as something different as they are actually. So I use this chimney thing over here as basically it almost looks like a mailbox, but it's more like a little stylish element where you can press the button, and then they have kind of you can talk to the one in the house, and then they can open you the garage door. And yeah, now we are getting to what I was talking about. This area in particular was quite hard to achieve the look I wanted to achieve, and so I was actually trying to make this look clean. And there's also the same issue as it is in Planet Zoo and Coaster, which is obvious. The pieces, when you sync them into each other, they create some texture fighting, which is pretty much logic because they sit on the exact same dimension and the exact same coordinates in the game, which is a bit of a pity. So you can't really sync them in too much in order to not make it look very weird and flickering the whole time. But I found a few things that I like. So for example, this little planter over here, if you size that down, this works as a perfect footer for these pillars of the fencing. I found this really cool because this gives a little bit more contrast, a bit more detail to these things. And yeah, the main architecture of the house is done, and now what I'm starting to do is to add in a lot more plans, a lot more details, a lot more gates and doors and windows and all this kind of stuff to make this house have a bit more character. Even though I have to say, at the end of the day, it is a very clean one. It almost ends up being a loft that could be used for like I don't know, film events, filming, or maybe even for like YouTubers, this kind of YouTube mention or whatever. This is something it could be like, because it's very clean. It doesn't have that much character of someone in particular living in here, but I wanted to create it exactly this way to make it super modern, super slick, super kind of almost cold. but in a positive way. Like it's not cold, it's cool, you know, using a lot of concrete, using a lot of bright colors, and then paired with some natural colors such as brick and darker concrete on the walls. Yeah, we have this balcony over here where there's a barbecue on there. We do have 3 different outside areas. We have this balcony, we have the pool area, and there's another barebone balcony on the back side of the house to the right here, which is not really used at this point in time. So I was actually having this as a little example where there could also be like a little barbecue party, or you just sit down to read a book or whatnot. But as I said, I made it as simple as possible in order to make sure that I focus on learning the game first. And the next building I will do, first of all, it will definitely be a lot quicker than what I've been doing here, because I found so many things, how it goes easier and how you improve your progress of building. But for all of you out there who haven't played The Sims 4, I'm fairly confident to say that even the base game offers you a lot of fun in terms of building in the building mode. I gotta say though, I can actually see that if you play this a bit more and you have done like, let's say 6 to 7 to 8 builds, it starts to get boring without a better choice of pieces. So this is definitely why it always is required to have some DLCs and stuff after a while. I totally get that. But for me, who has never played the game and only watched a lot of speed builds from the likes of Hetzy or also James and Deli and all the simmers, I've been watching a lot of their speed builds. But it's kind of hard if you don't play the game yourself. You cannot really steal too many of their techniques, because honestly, this is just so quick and you can't really get it. So also for you guys, just get the game, try to play it yourself, and try to come up with some techniques on your own and just start learning the game. I guess that's the best. Also, whenever I look, I just tune into some streams of Lil Simsy, it is always very interesting to look what she's doing, but you don't really catch that much. But now I think I understood a lot more things and why people are also so curious for Power Lives, because a lot of things we've seen in the demos of Power Lives so far improved one of my biggest complaints about the game, and this is basically the limited color options. This is one of the things I really hate. Like, why doesn't this game offer like a color wheel? So often I wanted to mix and match some pieces, but they just don't suit each other because of the different choice of colors. You can really see the same applies here to the kitchen. So I was trying to come up with some more creative solutions by syncing in some pieces. But then again, the hanging drawers and the hanging cupboards, they do have a different kind of color pattern than the lower ones, which I don't know why you would do this. This is kind of the weird stuff. You should be able to at least have always the same color options, okay? I mean, even if you don't have a color wheel, just having the same color options would make sense, I guess. But even that is not available, which is a bit of a pity. But I hope that in the future, maybe with Sims 5 or with Power Lives, that's gonna be addressed. But yeah, this is by the way the barebone little balcony we have on the other side. But yeah, so this lower ground is at the same time a living room and kitchen. So the idea about this build is more or less like actually a loft. It's not like this kind of living home as you would have it, because the way this layout works is not like especially the way you would live with kids or like for longer. Even though space-wise it's a very spacious building, the usage of rooms is not like the most clever one. Intentionally, I wanted to create this more focused on the style and on the different angles and stuff to make this building really look interesting rather than functional, I guess. And I definitely didn't make use of the space the best way possible. Honestly, there's a lot of waste of space going on in this build in particular. But yeah, at the end of the day, I ended up doing this for my own training, and I guess like it turned out to be looking way better than expected at the beginning. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, sometimes I have a feeling for the build that it really isn't that good. And beginning of this build, I really had the feeling this is going to be nowhere near what I want to achieve and what I've seen. Because from whatever you watch online, the other games, you have a certain expectation also to yourself, like how it should look. And at the end of the day, I was kind of surprised how good it looked, even though it's not obviously the same level of quality you would expect from the others, from the kind of well-known YouTube simmers and stuff, you know. But I'm still very happy with how this turned out at the very end, because it does have the charm I wanted to go for. I think it looks believable. I think it also translates what I wanted to do. It has this dedicated art style and design to it. So all in all, I'm fairly happy with how this turned out. And I think my main goal to get the hang of the game is fulfilled, and that's the most important thing I was aiming for. And so yeah, this is the reason why at least I am super happy. But yeah, also I need your guys' feedback. Do you like this build? What do you say about the overall design of this building? Did you catch, I mean, for those of you who play the game, did you catch some major mistakes I made? I guess you did definitely do this. So if you have got any tips and tricks how to use things better and how to maybe improve the usage of pieces and stuff, please let me know in the comments down below. That would be huge. And also let me know if you guys play The Sims, and if you play The Sims, which was your first Sims? Have you been starting with Sims 1? Have you joined the crew at Sims 2 or 3, whatever? And what is your biggest complaint about the game, or what is your biggest pro about the games, like pro and con about the game? Because as I said, I was surprised how much freedom you still have, but at the other hand, the grid and the non-color wheel option is, I think, my biggest negative about this game so far. But yeah, I think maybe it is interesting for you to see that, because this game is fairly old, if you will. It's still played a lot. It's not that usual game you would play to kind of grow your channel now or whatever. But I just wanted to do it because I left it lying on my desk here for so long, not touching it, really actually treating it like an old potato. But now finally I found the time and the will to do it, and yeah, I think this really gave me a little bit of a drive to do it more often in the future, and therefore I need your feedback. Do you like the build? Do you think it's cool looking? And what kind of ideas would you have for a future build? That would be also interesting to know what you guys want to see. I have some ideas what could be done, but yeah, just let me know in the comments down below. That would be huge. I would really appreciate that. But now we are nearly done with the time lapse, and here you go. This is the final result from the outside. Kind of a nice little shot here. This is the entrance area, which, yeah, is kind of modern, slick, easy. This is the first area inside, it's more like the floor room. You've got some seating options. This is the back side. The other one, you can look into the dining area and the lower area with the kitchen. This is the kitchen, what I was just talking about. We have this little nice shot. Then this is the dining area with the little bar on top. Perfect for some TV formats, I guess. Then this is another floor on the second level. This is the bedroom from one angle. I think we get another shot from this bedroom. Yes, there you go. Just from the other side. Again, very simple. You have a few more dark colors here for the bedroom. And then this is the bathroom finally, with a lot of mirrors making this room appear bigger than it is. And yeah, that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are new to the channel and you like the content, make sure to subscribe to catch more of it in the future. And you know, just have a very good time, have a very good weekend ahead, and enjoy your time. Stay safe, everyone, and goodbye.